Our good buddy, Ross Tucker, host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, works for CBS, Westwood One, and he hosts the Even Money Podcast that you should follow on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. He is busy calling MAC action. Had a game on Tuesday night. I think that was Ball State in Akron. He's got Clemson at Louisville coming up Saturday for Westwood One. He's a busy man, the peripatetic Ross Tucker. Ross, how are you today?
Fantastic, always. What's up, Dan?
Thursday night football, Mike White versus the Colts. If he plays extremely well, do the Jets then have a... Is it a good thing or a bad thing if Mike White plays really well tonight against the Colts?
I think it's a fair question. Ultimately, it's a good thing. I think in the short term, it might be a little bit of an issue for the Jets that they have to sort through. But at a minimum, you don't want to rush Zach Wilson back from this injury. So you want Mike White to win. You want Mike White to play well. They're trying to build something there, a new culture with Robert Saleh and the Jets. So absolutely, they want Mike White to play well. I know some Jets fans kind of have mixed emotions like, wait a minute, why does he look better than Zach Wilson does? We'll see if that happens tonight. You know, it's funny, Dan, I was talking with Greg Cosell this morning on the Ross Tucker podcast, and he just mentioned the Bengals were really conservative and vanilla against Mike White last Sunday. I mean, they really just played zone, and I think the Colts will be much more aggressive tonight. I'm not sure Mike White will play that well, but if he does, I know this, I'll personally be thrilled for him. Any of these guys, Dan, Cooper Rush, Mike White, these guys get a chance to actually start a game. They've been just battling, scratching, clawing to stay in the league for years. I always root for these guys.
Is it a better story if Jordan Love plays well or doesn't play well against Kansas City?
Oh, I think it's a better, well, I guess it depends on your perspective. I think it's a more interesting story.
How about if you're a Packer fan? Is it better that he plays well? No guarantee he wins, but he plays well or he doesn't play well.
Oh, okay. That's totally different. Packers fan, you absolutely want Jordan Love to play well. Number one, you want to give your team a chance to win the game. But number two, you want to feel pretty good about what you have in Love when Rodgers isn't there anymore, which is very likely next year. So you absolutely hope Jordan Love plays well. Now, for us, it would be interesting if Jordan Love really played poorly. That would make the offseason even more interesting. And frankly, it would make the entire conversation surrounding Aaron Rodgers and, you know, testing positive and not being vaccinated. It would make that even more interesting if Love plays really poorly.
What do you think happens with the Packers? Are they complicit in what happened with Aaron Rodgers? And what happens to Aaron Rodgers, you know, bigger picture with not just being out with COVID, but is he fined? Is he suspended?
I think there's going to have to be some sort of discipline. Now, I'll say this. I don't follow the rules that closely of when they have to wear a mask or what they have to do if they're unvaccinated. But at a minimum, it feels like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers organization were misleading in this instance. So I'll be curious to see how the NFL comes down. They know it's a very sensitive topic, and frankly, other teams are watching. The thing I keep coming back to, though, Dan, is, you know, I hear all the time whether or not you're vaccinated is a personal decision. I get that, but not really when you play for a team, right? Like, not really, for a couple different reasons. I mean, number one, you know, we've all read that you're less likely to test positive, less likely to transmit it, all those things if you're vaccinated. So if you're not vaccinated, you're really not quite doing what's best for the team. And then even just forget that part of it, just the NFLPA rules. I mean, Saquon Barkley tested positive, but because he's vaccinated, if he gets back-to-back negative tests, he can play in the next game. Whereas Rodgers is out at least 10 days, might put him out for the next game. You know, if you're a leader and you're part of a team, it's not really the personal decision that people talk about all the time. It's kind of a team decision, especially if you're a leader and winning the Super Bowl, going to it and winning it is supposed to be a high priority for you.
I was not accused of being naive, but it was mentioned I might be naive because in my mind, I'm thinking Rodgers, in his mind, thinks that he was protected, that he had, this holistic approach and raise your antibodies and you're going to be, because he said when he was asked, hey, have you been vaccinated? And he goes, yeah, I've been immunized. Well, nobody in the room thought to ask him, okay, is he playing games with words here that maybe in his mind he thought he was protected? Although I was told maybe you're being naive and giving Rodgers too much credit, that he did know what he was doing, didn't believe in getting vaccinated, and was sort of taking chances here of being a spreader or getting in it himself.
Well, it sounds like he's got this personal doctor that he really believes in. And if they did some type of therapy to try to boost his antibodies, I think on some level, Rodgers probably did think he was protected. But to me, Dan, that's not the point. Like, Aaron is a really smart guy, and the rules were very clear from the NFL and the NFLPA. So listen, you don't have to agree with the rules, and I know a lot of people don't, but these are the rules of engagement for the 2021 season. So if it's really important to you to win as many games as possible, to try to win a Super Bowl, all those things, you really should be vaccinated, right? Like, if that's a high priority or priority one, win games, win the Super Bowl, because of the way the rules are laid out this year, you really should be vaccinated if that's a high priority for you.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be vaccinated. You have Carson Wentz, who said, I'm not vaccinated. Alan Lazard, Kirk Cousins, they've come out and said they're not vaccinated. Well, they're still playing. I don't know why Rodgers didn't just say, look, I'm not vaccinated. I've been immunized, and I'll go through the COVID protocol. Then I don't know if anybody would have a problem with this, because when's the last time Kirk Cousins or Carson Wentz's name came up that they're not vaccinated? I said at the beginning of the year, you're going to have a situation where you have a big-time quarterback test positive, and we're going to see what the fallout is in that quarterback room. Well, Jordan Love somehow escaped this, and the third-string quarterback has COVID. Devontae Adams coming off COVID. Alan Lazard with COVID. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is responsible for that, but I'm curious, if you're a teammate of Aaron Rodgers and you know he did this, was he being deceitful? Was he trying to, be vague? And look at what the fallout is here. And right, what did the Packers know as well? Because did they just say, hey, whatever we do, let's don't upset Aaron, given what happened in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he didn't want all the criticism that goes along with not being vaccinated, okay? He knows it's a polarizing topic, and he didn't want to face the wrath of the media. It's that simple, because otherwise he would have totally owned it. And I actually give credit to Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz for owning it. Here's the thing, though, Dan. Yeah. I really believe that if Cousins and Wentz tested positive and missed games in the regular season, I think we would be up in arms anyway. They both tested positive in the preseason. So they already missed their time during preseason. I said back then, if this happens to a guy that's especially unvaccinated during the season, it's going to be a really big deal, and it is. If Cousins or Wentz tested positive now and had to miss 10 days, maybe 2 games, I think they'd be getting a lot of flack as well. Maybe not as much as Rodgers, because people didn't know that Rodgers was unvaccinated, but they'd still be getting a lot of criticism.
He's Ross Tucker, former NFL lineman. He works for CBS Westwood One and host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. You can follow him at Ross Tucker NFL. The Odell Beckham Jr. situation. Does he have a point about Baker Mayfield?
Well, he can be frustrated that he doesn't get the ball more. But Dan, I played for 5 teams. I never once met a wide receiver that didn't think they should get the ball more. And this video his dad puts out there, anybody could do a video. Look, you know what, Dan? I'm going to put a video out there, 5 minutes of my NFL career, and everybody will think I was really, really good. Guess what? I wasn't. You can do anything with videos, right?
Maybe about 3 minutes.
But the point is, okay, so his dad posts a video of when he's open and doesn't get the ball. Every receiver's dad can do that. And by the way, what are you doing having your dad do that? And don't tell me Odell wasn't in on it, because it's not a coincidence that the same day LeBron James tweets free OBJ. Okay. Like, this is an orchestrated, coordinated thing. Frankly, honestly, this is really bad. I mean, I'm embarrassed for him. Like, I'm embarrassed that he had his dad do that. I mean, what's next, Dan? Next time I'm filling in for you, am I going to have my mom call you and ask if I can get a little bit more money when I feel like, what are we like? You're a grown man. You're an adult. And honestly, it's cowardly. Like, I have a lot more respect for guys that say, you know, I wish I was getting the ball more. I'm not happy. You have your buddy LeBron tweet something and your dad post a video. It's passive aggressive, pathetic.
Do you think, though, he has a point that Baker Mayfield is just not a good enough quarterback?
I don't think that's his point.
I think it is. I think he's saying, I'm open. He can't make these throws. He doesn't pull the trigger quick enough. And if you look at, now granted, it's 11 minutes that's been edited together to make Odell look good and Baker to look bad. But there are moments that fill up 11 minutes, even though some are in slow motion, that Baker Mayfield does miss throws with Odell Beckham.
Yeah, but they all do. I mean, I think there's two different things. If he just doesn't think Baker Mayfield's good enough, okay. I think he thinks that Baker doesn't look for him. I think he thinks that Baker doesn't want to throw him the ball. That's
okay, but look, Baker needs Odell Beckham to get a new contract, right?
I don't agree. I actually think if you look at it over the last couple of years, they're better without him.
Well, I don't want Odell Beckham on my team, but he is extremely talented, and I do think that you need to put up some passing numbers. You know, they're a running team, and there's a reason why, because they're more confident in running the football than they are passing it, even with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. Most teams would be a pass team first. I think there's still questions with Baker Mayfield here. I don't like the way Odell did this, but I think Odell did it because he knew, hey, go ahead, cut me and pay me, and I'll go find another team.
Well, there's definitely questions with Baker Mayfield, especially as it relates to whether or not he gets a big-time long-term contract. But as it relates to Odell Beckham Jr., I don't really know how talented he really is anymore. And Baker Mayfield and the Browns have clearly played better without him. Throw the ball to Landry, throw the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones. They've got 3 good tight ends. Their backs are excellent out of the backfield. They don't need Odell Beckham Jr., but he was smart the way he timed it.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to pick him up on waivers now because of his salary. So if they cut him, he'll be able to sign with whatever team he wants. I mean, they're trying to figure out the money right now. They want to get rid of him. If he wasn't guaranteed all this money, he would have been cut already.
Yeah, I think that they held him out of practice again today. And I think, according to the CBA, Mike Florio said, you're not allowed to do that. You can't hold him out. He has to be able to come back if he wants to come back. So you have to either allow him to come back or you release him. And I think that's what he's hoping for. And who knows where he ends up. But it feels like he's going to get paid and then get paid again and going to get his get out of jail card.
Who really wants him? I mean, what he's doing right now.
The Saints would take him right now.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. And I think they probably would. I don't think he'd get a lot of money, but he's injured a lot. He's not productive. He doesn't get along with quarterbacks like Eli Manning and Baker Mayfield. And this is the second time in a row that he's kind of tried to force his way out. Who's looking for that? I mean, that's the grand slam right there of 4 things I don't want on my team.
Yeah, but Antonio Brown, he got a couple of second chances, third chances.
Much better player, I think, than Odell is at this stage.
I agree.
But you're right. He'll go to the Saints or somewhere, and I guess he'll get the ball more. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's very good anymore. But I think he realizes that people are feeling that way, and he wants to go somewhere else to prove that he's still got it.
Great to talk to you, Ross, as always. Thank you, buddy. Safe travels.
Absolutely. Thank you. See ya.
That's Ross Tucker, host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, one of our favorites, works for CBS and Westwood One.